Odds are if you're into Cherokees, Grand Cherokees, doesn't matter, and you've lifted it and your steering sucks, you've probably read, heard, seen about this so-called Dodge Durango upgraded box. I feel like that's a hot enough topic that it's been talked up that it's better, it's an upgrade, it's a downgrade, it's the same thing. And to my knowledge, there's no factual information about it. It's just, what do you call that, hearsay? Somebody says it's good, somebody says it's bad, and that's all you got to go off of. I have seen many videos just talking about doing this so-called upgrade. I'm sure just for clickbait. But I want to know, is it actually any better or is it the same thing? Oop. And wait till you see what I've got. Alright, just a forewarning, as I was editing this video, I discovered I made a very minor but major mistake. I probably could have just ignored it and probably nobody would have ever seen it and everything would have been perfect. But I'm very humble with these videos, take a lot of pride in them, I don't lie. I just want to be, I guess truthful would be the word I'd say about everything I do. So when I get to that mistake, I'll elaborate on it and tell you what I'm going to do about it. Nearly like 200 videos. This is the first mistake I've ever made, so not everybody's perfect. Here you go, hope you learn. If you watch my videos, this is just the same Cherokee I've been using for like 4 years. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a test pig, I guess would be the word. So if you can see what's going on, this is as simple as it gets, and it's just die-hard factual information of what a steering box output can be. You got your steering box hooked to a hydraulic cylinder, and then right over here on the pressure side, I've got a gauge to read the pressure. That one is just a regular Cherokee known as the XJ or whatever. I've been saving them right here. And I've saved some. This one's off a 96 ZJ, the Grand Cherokee. Some people, I'm pretty sure it's been rumored once or twice, the Grand Cherokee's heavier and the steering box puts out a little better. We're gonna find out. So that one's off a 4.0, and then I've got one I took off of a 5.2. Again, same rumor, V8's heavier, upgraded steering box. Do we know? No. We're going to find out. And then this one is off of a Durango, which essentially did the same job as this thing. If you've seen, I got a junkyard and I just go up and down the hill with it. I use that Durango for nearly 8 years. If you can see, it's all muddied up and everything, but look how this Pitman arm is right here. You can tell that's a Durango setup. I just cut it off there. But I'm going to add to that. This is the Durango it's off of. As you can tell, you can still see the mud and everything. And right there is where I torched that off, so all the mud and everything matches up. But also, I do have this Durango, which is a 5.9. I don't think it makes any difference, but it's in a whole lot better shape. Obviously been drove on the street. We're just going to pull it off there. And that way I have 2 Durango steering boxes to back up our information. Alright, I'm going to keep this as simple as I can. All I'm doing is reading pressure. So when I turn right, it's going to build pressure. Let's see if I can start putting pressure. Did it move? Yeah, that's about 100, about 50 psi. There it goes back. So I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. All I'm going to do is crank it up. I'm going to turn right. I'm going to use 2 fingers right here. Because, I'll show you in just a second, as soon as I find a way to hold this gauge and get 2 hands, we tried this other day. I can build more pressure on this with the engine turned off. So if I sit here and like pry down on it, I'll actually be overcoming the power steering and it won't be actual results. So I'm gonna fire it up. I don't know how the noise will be. And this gauge is hard to get to focus on my camera, but I'll do the best I can. This is factory XJ steering box. Sounds a little better. Maybe you can see, so I got 2 fingers. That's pretty much, you can see all it wants to do, and that is 500 and we'll go with 80. $550, $580. Yep. So when I sit down and edit, I'll do like the area squared of the RAM and the PSI and figure out how many actual pounds of output steering box has. Let me figure out how to hold this. Oh, one more thing. Revs is not going to change output. Should be focused in, bottoming out. You can see, you always see people revving it up trying to make it turn faster. Steering pumps is a different video. A guy I just left was talking about the whole, what is it, WJ high output steering pump. I hate to break it to you, it's not no better, but I'm gonna prove that different video. So here's a gauge, it's as close as I can get, but you can tell that it's not running. I don't even know if I'll be able to see. We'll start building. That's 200, 400. Let's see, that's 6 on the dot. That's 700 right there. Whew. So that's what I was getting at. That's why I'm only using 2 fingers. The power steering is going to do as much as it possibly can. Using pounds per square inch and all that stuff, it's just common math, I guess is the word. But literally I can put out more. Oh, you gotta be strong. Yeah. Whew. Somebody else could probably do 1,000, but I can't. So that is the Bone Stock XJ. This is a 93 model, I believe. I'm gonna keep using the same pump the entire video, and this is just regular 10 weight base oil. If you can see, it's just regular clear oil. You can see down in there, nothing special. Basically the same as power steering fluid. Every transmission fluid, power steering fluid, all those are just 10 weight oil with some modifiers in there. So that'll be the fluid of choice in all of them. I got to change the steering box. This could be a lot of work, but some good information. So that one was, let's say, 560 to 580. I feel like the fluid got a little warm and it fell back off. Ooh, what a job. Alright then. So I got it on there, and if you saw me, I poured fluid in, crunk it up, let it bubble, crunk it up, let it bubble. Should have a fair chance that way. And if you've seen me in the time lapse, I went ahead and pulled all of the Pitman arms off. We're going to use the exact same Pitman arm, hey dog, for all of them. That way it's a fair comparison. I'm going to be the typical YouTuber and say I think I know. Well, hold on. Just by visuals, I think I've already figured out what's fixing to happen. And I'm going to go ahead and say the Durango is going to put bigger numbers out. But there's a trade-off. If you're smart, you've caught on what I'm doing. But I'm going to be the typical YouTuber and tell you to stay to the end of the video and tell you. Just kidding. As soon as I do the first Durango, I'm probably going to tell you what I've come up with. But I don't want to be wrong, so I'm not going to tell you. We'll see. This is 96 Grand Cherokee ZJ. See what it does. This is a whole lot of work for just, what, 20 seconds of Be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. Just kidding, that's the first time I've ever said that. Alright, I can't read it, y'all can. See. Read that, there it is. Uh-oh. It's left. I'll turn it sideways so the water goes somewhere else. There we go. It's upside down, but there won't be no water. So that's my 2 fingers. Yeah, it ain't much, but it's left. That is 520 or 530. 535. 540. 540. We'll rev it up to make somebody happy. changed. Hey, it's finally up there. Okay, we're finally... I know you can't see it, but we're right at 580, which is exactly where the other one was. Guess I had to get a few bubbles out. It's a lot of work to get the exact same results. Whew. Now, on to the V8. Alright, got the V8 ZJ on there. Got her topped off with some fuel, whatever. Got a strange prediction. It's probably going to be 580. The exact same. Alright, here we go. Next time I'm going to order like the 6-inch gauge. I don't know if y'all can see. I won't be able to see it. 600 is right there. The water, or the air there, just messes everything up. Starting applying pressure. 2 fingers. That is 540. So it's the same as the other. That is 560. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know if it's getting the air out. That is 560. Flow some fluid around. That's 550. So it'll do the same 580, but if you kind of watch my hand, that's what 560. I had to push real hard. It'll go to the same 580. Yep, dead on. Y'all's angle may have been different, but it's dead on 580. Ooh. This is a lot of work on my end, but I feel like somebody needed to do this. We're gonna figure it out. So there is the original XJ one. That is the ZJ40. The V8 one is still on there, ZJ. And then there's still that nasty old Durango right there. So I'm gonna get that one put on. I'm gonna guess 650, 660. No idea. Somebody's gonna, if I guess it right, somebody will be like, oh, you already done it. All I can do is say, I promise, I've never done it. I don't lie. But if it's right, I'll explain why. And that's the thing. If I am right, don't run away, because there's a downside. If I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'll have to start all over. I'm gonna get it put on there, see what happens. The moment we've been waiting for. Durango steering box, it's a bolt up. I could have wasted time explaining at the first of the video about the upgrade and all that, but I feel like there's enough videos out there about it. I want to be the one to prove if it's good or bad or not. But like I said, either way, these numbers come out, don't click off I got something bad to go with it. But I'm gonna see if there's a way around it. Alright, Durango steering box number 1, and I drove this one for like 8 years in the junkyard, so it should be a good one. Now whether it's wore out or not, I don't think so, because those 3 steering boxes literally had the exact same results, and we don't even know nothing about them. One day I'll afford a good camera. Alright, here we go. 2 fingers, my pressure. Something not working. What? Well, this is strange. pump went out. And then just gutted the thing. You can't put the hoses on backwards. Let me check up here. What the heck? Now I look like a fake. I don't know what I'm doing. Wrong. It's like it don't even work at all. That's 600, so it's like, I don't know what to say. I know it worked. I know it worked. I got like 50 witnesses that drove that Durango. Let me study and see what's going on, I guess. Went to put fluid in, but I wanted to show y'all first. The fluid is very bubbly. So I don't know if it had just a big air pocket in that because it's been sitting out so long. Maybe. So I'm gonna get it topped off with fluid, see if I can bleed it. I'm gonna let it sit, let the air bubbles pop. I don't know. I know for a fact that box worked. But we got more Durangos. We'll get another one. Update, it was just out of fluid. I've added a bunch and it's actually starting to make growling noises now. We'll just keep cycling it and get the bubbles out so it's working. Oh yeah, that's working. See if we got anything now. Yep. Alright. I don't want to spill it yet. Let me get all this bubble situated. It's just been sitting there a long time. Been waiting a long time to do this whole test deal. I just show you proof. You can tell that there's air in the system. So you should be able to see the fluid level. It's down about an inch. And you can see the bubbles. Watch this. When you cut it off, all those bubbles that's in the system are compressed bubbles. And they start feeding back and raising the level up. So this thing's going to have to sit overnight. I mean, it don't have to sit overnight. But for a fair comparison, all those bubbles that's down in there will have to decompress, fall out of solution, and all that stuff. So to be fair, I'm gonna let it sit overnight. It's going on 8:30. Well, I still gotta get the other one off regardless what this does because I said I was gonna do it. And we gotta figure out what this will do. I'm gonna drop mine back down to about 620, 630 PSI. All right, it is actually Monday if you look right there. Started this Thursday of last week. It sit Friday. Didn't feel like messing with it Saturday or Sunday. It's going on Monday. Actually, it's going on Tuesday. Don't know if we have light. Let me get some light. Fluid's been sitting here for 3 days. God, where's it even at? That looks like it's farther down there, but that'll do the job. There. The anticipation's been killing me. It's like I want to know so bad. It's just been sitting here. All I had to do is fire it up. But we'll check it out now. I feel like I've been here before, about a week ago. Maybe it'll still run. I'm still going about 620, is what I think. Where's 600? 600's top dead center. Alright, 2 fingers. Oh, I gotta hook it up. I forgot I took the pin out so I could cycle it to get all the bubbles worked out. Alright, maybe we got it this time. Like I said, I just had it unhooked so we could cycle and get all the air worked out of there. Yep, maybe y'all can read. Come on. There we go. There it is. Got my curiosity now. Oh, I should have stuck with my first guess. Didn't I say 660? Maybe y'all can read that. Dead on 650. Alright, here you go. Why it had to be the Durango steering box, I don't know. I just got excited and thought I had guessed that 660 was right, and if you look, this bubble is getting in the way. I was just thinking of a normal gauge. It goes in steps. I was thinking this was 700. So realistically, that's 700. We're at 720-ish on the dot. So everything else is factual. That just made a super tiny mistake, but that throws everything out of the water. But everything I say after this is right. I just made a small mistake. So when I get to other parts, I'll tell you more, and I've got an idea what to do from here. Here you go. Dead on 650. Actually 660. That's exactly, I'm pretty sure I said 660. Give it a couple hits. 660, 660, 660. So now I gotta explain what's going on. Skeet. So you're probably flipping out like, why am I not like so excited that the Durango, almost 100 pounds more pressure? Like I said, I'll do the math, try to figure that out, but at this given point, that doesn't actually matter. But I know you're wondering, like, why am I not excited about that? Well, I've been doing some studying. Well, that's what I was going to say, is it's essentially almost 100 pounds more, which comes out to be, can we read that number? 1.13, so it's about 14% stronger, which is, if you add the numbers up, is actually phenomenal. That's just a direct swap, and it's that much stronger. But why is that not good? Let's go check it out. I'm not the best explainer in the world, I do admit that, but there's got to be somebody that can comment to make this all make sense. I'm going to try the best I can. One day if I get a fancy editor that can do like geometry and stuff, it'll make more sense, but just some redneck learning stuff going on. Might as well get this in. So these are the two ZJs. Well, let me get the XJ. No, crap, I'm using it right now. We'll take it off later. So pay attention, these are essentially best I can do straight line on the Pitman arm. And look, they come down, and look how much shorter that is than the Durango. Some of y'all are getting this, some of y'all probably ain't, that's cool. But I measured best I can from here, center line to here is 5 1/4. And then from here, center line to there is 6 inches. So if you're understanding what's going on, for whatever reason, the Durango suspension must be designed differently, and it needs more. Since it's got a longer Pitman arm, it doesn't have to move as far. These numbers, they're so hard to judge on how I was doing it. You've probably seen me measuring, but XJ, ZJ, ZJ, those was pretty much all the same. I think one was off like a 16th or what is that? I don't know, doesn't change stories. It's off just a little bit. And this one was down about 1/2 inch and then down about 1/2 inch on both sides. And then this is what I was saying, the 6-inch Pitman arm divided by the 5 1/4 comes out roughly 14%, which is basically the same thing we have up here. Once again, I'm not human, I made a mistake. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna correct it next time. This is this piece of paper. I went ahead and did the math the same as the top one, and you can see these 14 percentages was matching. Now if you do the math, we are at 24%, which is 10% stronger, but it doesn't have the throw. Just flow with this video. The second one, whenever I find another Durango, I'm gonna figure it out. Now back to learning me being wrong. As far as I know, that means the steering boxes are identical. One is just geared different for the longer Pitman arm. Get back up here, Forrest Gump. So again, this is where somebody in the comments will be able to explain better. That's why these numbers, they matter, but they're not that big of a deal, because by the time the Pitman arm swings, it's not pushing as far when it gets to the end. So it being 1/2 inch shorter is actually a very big deal. It's kind of like, think of my foot pushing, let's just push the screwdriver, how about that? Trying to hold the camera still. Right now it's pushing it a lot, but you can see when it gets right about there, it's not even really doing much right there. All about Ackerman and some fancy terms that I can't explain, but I'm 99% sure that's why everybody probably flips out about the Durango box, is it actually is stronger, but it's not going to turn all the way as sharp as you need it, And if you made a custom Pitman arm that was longer to get their extra throw, it would have to be 14% longer, and the Durango box is 14% stronger. They basically cancel each other out. I'm pretty shocked by this, actually. I'm so glad I paid attention to that. I'm gonna give it one more whirl just to make sure we got 100% facts, and can't hold the camera as good, but it'll work. Alright. There's where she bottoms out. I'll come back here, Gage. Y'all should be able to see. Yep, 660 on the dot. So this is the part that sucks so bad being me. Is I started to say this in the first video. Other than just knowing the truth, this doesn't benefit me at all. Pretty sure we're to a good point about the Durango box. I think, again, if somebody can explain a little better than me, I think we know now that they are basically the same, but they're different. How would you say it? One does more work with less effort, one uses more effort to do less work or something. Somebody can explain it better than me. And that's what I was getting at. This doesn't really do me no good, because now pretty much canceled out the world knowing that the Durango steering box is not an upgrade. So therefore all these steering boxes that I was selling off the Durangos to people as an upgrade pretty much canceled that out. So that information right there doesn't do me any good. We're just trying to learn. And I know for a fact I'm going to go through all the trouble to take that box off and get the exact same results. Unless I can find out how to edit out where I said that I was going to do it twice. But I'm going to do it. I want good, honest reviews and people satisfied when they leave here that they know the facts. So give me a second. This is so much work. I guess I told a little lie. It's not what I meant to do. Check it out. If you didn't know, I'm kind of like a Jeep person. I just started acquiring Durangos because the 5.9's the same. Transmission's different than a transfer case. That's an upgrade for XJ, but that's another day's story. But this was a 5.9. Somewhere around 2000, 2001, Jeep made, well, Chrysler made a ton of changes. As far as just, they started the WJ. They went from 5.2 to 4.7. They went from 46 RE, 44 RE to the 45 FRE. Tons of changes. So this one was, what did I say it was? I guess that would be 2 of 2000. Which makes it 01. I didn't even pay attention. It's the 5.9. I know it is. I've run it. I can tell by sound. But it's a freaking rack and pinion. I had no idea. I don't know if y'all got enough light. But I went to take the steering shaft off and noticed instead of it going straight to the steering box, it goes off at an angle. So I was like, dang, you seen how hard I worked to get this thing out of here. Now I don't need nothing off of it. I got to shove it back. But I think that's the only steering box I got. Let's go check. So I've got that one, the one we just picked up, that one, that's a Dakota. That's the one with a junky steering box, the ugly one. Then that's a new one. That's rack and pinion. I know for a fact when they went to the 4.7, that was 01, I guess the whatever month, but that's a 4.7. So that'll be rack and pinion. That's 4.7, that'll be rack and pinion. That's 4.7, I drove it, rack and pinion. This one was 318, 98 model, and that is one of the steering boxes I sold. So it's gone. That was rack and pinion. Not sure on these Dodge trucks. That's what, there's one laying here. Oh, that's the secret I haven't given away. I don't think I'm gonna take this off because I don't know. Well, hell, let's just take, it bolts up the same. We might as well, I done lied to y'all. But right here, I noticed when I was grabbing it, that was bigger. So that's when I noticed the longer Pitman arm. The way that steering box works, it's basically a hydraulic ram, one side pressure. So I noticed that being bigger, I was like, it's probably got a bigger piston but doesn't turn as far. So that's how I knew when I told y'all, I guessed, I seen about the inch long Pitman arm, so I added a few more numbers to what I thought it would output. That's how I guessed that pretty close. So with my options kind of dried up as far as Durango, that's just sitting there doing nothing. Let's find out. Hell, let's prove a new myth. Nobody's tried that yet. I think I've got a Jeep coming in tomorrow. It's actually a 5.9 with Rubicon axles, but he kept complaining about the steering, and with all these trucks, I noticed the box looked relatively the same. Well, turns out it's a completely different bolt pattern, but everything else looked workable. So I had to notch the frame, cut holes, put pipes through there, make my own custom mount, put it on there, and it was the exact same. So that was kind of depressing, but I believe I can get that one off where it sits, and we'll see what it does. Looking like I'm gonna have to buy a Durango just to finish this out. Ellie, she ain't got nothing to say. I think that's okay. So this is a Durango, it's longer. This is ZJ, that's the Dakota. These are from there to center line 5 1/4. This is 6. That's about 4 3/4. But I think it's gonna be the exact same steering box as the XJ, ZJ. That I'm gonna say the knuckle geometry was just shorter throw than one of these things. Can't lie, I'm about sick of looking at this Jeep, working on this Jeep. That wouldn't go on there because this one uses a roll pin, and I guess sitting in the sun for 15 years now, whatever it's been out there, it's just wouldn't go on, so it's hammered on. It's probably not coming back off for now. I'll get it off, but got it bled. It's got the same Pitman arm I've been using the whole time. I'm gonna go with 580. What you bet, Ellie? Huh? See it? 580 or 5 what? All right, bet. Deal. Deal. I feel like I've been here before. All right, pretty sure it's gonna be 580 on the dot. I'm gonna say I probably bump 560 and then 580. As long as it's bled out pretty good. About where my thumb is. Dead on something. That's 540. Next one will be 560. No, 580. 580 on the dot. There we go. Voila. Now I need a Durango. So let me get this box knocked off here, and I'm gonna go back with, I don't even have to take it off there. Yeah, I do. I ruined some bolts. I cross-threaded some stuff. Anyways, I might see if it'll run down, but I'm gonna put the original one back on there. But when I got them all off out here, I wanna show you the difference that I noticed between them, which kind of give it away what I was thinking. Finally got the Jeep halfway back together. Gotta get this scene filmed quick. These things are pouring fluid everywhere. ZJ 3 3/4. ZJ 3 3/4. This is the Dakota 3 3/4. I know the XJ is the same size. Not even. I've already put it on there. This is what caught my eye. This one, when I grabbed it, I felt of it. It's 4 1/4. So the bore in there, I'm not gonna bother wasting a bunch of time, but it's literally a piston in the middle that gets pushed forward and back. Creates pressure on this side, creates pressure on this side. That assists a little worm drive that drives this gear right there. So pretty sure that's the same size. I measured like the bolts and stuff on it. It's just simply, it's got more power, but it does work in less throw, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a floor jack. You can pick up a vehicle because you're moving a little piston to move a big piston to go slower. So I can already guarantee somebody in the comments going to have a wonderful exclamation of it. I just don't know how to get it across real clear as day. Alright, before I go explaining myself being completely wrong, this is the plan I've got as of now. And this is going to take a while to happen because I'm going to go through as much trouble as to find another Durango that I don't even need, want, nothing. I just want the steering box off of. So I'm going to go spend $600-800 on another Durango to get the box to make sure we can revisit this whole myth. And the whole time doing the video, I wish I had a way to measure angle. And I just didn't have nothing. I didn't feel like making anything. I thought I would have enough information to not even need the angle. But turns out I do, because I'm going to go back, cut, and make a custom Pitman arm that, you know, nobody's going to go through the trouble of doing. But if you did, what would the results be then? So I've got a lot of studying to do, and I hope that you'll help me to figure out, because I want to be the person that solves this myth. All I'm thinking is maybe keep one, maybe let a stock suspension droop fully, and then we'll take the steer stops off the knuckle and measure geometry on a stock box, and then see if we can make a custom Pitman arm on the Durango to mimic the exact same, and then we'll go back and measure pressures off it. I don't know. Like I said, I apologize. Stupid, simple mistake. Ruin everything. But if I didn't do this, I don't know honestly where we would be, because I would have seen the pressures, figured something, and there's still a little bit to go with this whole myth. But after several days of changing steering boxes just to check pressures, I can't even lie, I was frustrated. So here's the finish of the video. Once again, I'm curious of your comments. Thank you for your time. So this is very hard to end. I just want to keep explaining and make sure everybody gets it, but I feel like you should. And I'm actually anxious to read the comments, because there's going to be some people that understand, there's going to be some people that disagree, it's going to be fun to read. But boils down to results. All of them, XJ, ZJ, not the Durango, the Dakota, I'm sure TJ, I don't have one laying around, but I'm pretty sure they're all the exact same. From my numbers and all that, they put the same number down. The Durango, if somebody's going to put it on their Jeep and say, oh, it turns better, like easier, yes, it will. But if you go back and do all this math that I showed you, you probably can't read, it is stronger, but it doesn't turn as far. So it's only going just a little bit. That's why it's got the longer Pitman arm to match the geometry of the knuckles. So therefore, if it's got a longer, it's got to be strong. That's what I was trying to think. Again, I'm just trying to make it explain where everybody can understand. But if you drew the line through here and made it exact same length, which it was, I used the same Pitman arm. Again, the math don't lie. It's just freaking hard to explain. So I hope you learned. If you didn't, let me know in the comments, because I will be reading all these, because I'm kind of curious. It's just a hard thing to explain without somebody that's got fancy editing that can do geometry and angles and all that kind of such. I just can't. But don't waste your money on a Durango steering box. It's a complete waste of time, unless you just don't want to turn sharp. I don't know. Anyways, hope you learned something. I did. I understand this. You may not. I apologize for that. It's just the way it works. If you got any other ideas, I got a junkyard full of crap. We'll learn something. Have a good day.